So in today's video, we're going to be looking at the differences between Microsoft 365 Home and Business. Now we get a lot of questions from customers asking us which one they should choose, so let's jump on the PC and take a look. So a few months ago, we had a customer who came to us in a little bit of a panic. They had been using Microsoft 365 Family for their business and had stored some files in there. Now the member of staff had left and they couldn't no longer access those files. So you can imagine the surprise when we told them they no longer had access to that data and they could potentially be breaching data protection. So let's start with the basics. What are the differences with Microsoft 365 Home and Business? So Microsoft 365 Personal and Family, or Home as I like to call it, is for personal use only. It's designed for families, households and personal devices. Its licenses belong to the individual, not the business. There is no central admin, so there's no control or security policies. No business grade cloud services like SharePoint or Exchange. And there's no backup options for personal or family. But we'll talk more about that later. Whereas Microsoft Business is for organizations. It's designed for businesses, charities and local authorities, as well as other organizations. The license belongs to the organization, not the employee. Full Microsoft 365 admin control, company managed OneDrive, SharePoint and Teams, as well as email. And it has GDPR ready controls, retention policies, data loss prevention, and multi-factor authentication. So here's the thing that nobody actually tells you. If you're storing company data in a Microsoft 365 personal license, the company doesn't own the data, it's actually the user. So in that scenario, if the employer leaves, you actually lose control of your data. So now let's take a closer look. So one company that we actually supported actually had an employee suddenly leave. Now they had used Microsoft 365 Family for their subscription, and that person had used their personal Microsoft 365 license to sign into a company computer. So with that, the company lost access to all those files, and I mean everything. So with Microsoft 365 Business, you, the business, control the actual data. The company owns the actual license tenant, the environment where Microsoft 365 lives. Files are stored in a controlled UK-based cloud location. Permissions can be reassigned instantly by your admin, and you can restrict access and enforce compliance and even wipe devices. With the Microsoft 365 Personal or Family license, there is no admin control at all. There is no way of recovering deleted accounts. There's no way of reassigning the data. There's no way of applying security policies or managing devices. And there is also no setup conditional access for things like multi-factor authentication. So what about pricing? At the end of the day, most people make their buying decisions purely based on the price. Now the immediate assumption is Microsoft 365 Business is more expensive, and therefore the justification to using the Family or the Home versions is where they will go. But that's not strictly speaking true, because when you look at the core benefits of what you get with the business license versus the home license, you can see the huge benefits of going that route. So now let's look at the price differences between Microsoft 365 Home versions and Microsoft 365 Business. So Microsoft 365 Personal and Family, correct at the time of making this video, is £84.99 per year or £8.49 a month for the single personal license. Or you'll pay £109.99 or £10.49 for the 6 user license. So for the family you get 6 licenses, and for the personal you get the 1. These licenses are purely for personal use. They include Office apps, including your 1 terabyte of cloud storage per user, and the user can use the software on up to 5 devices simultaneously. So that includes PC, Macs, mobile, tablets, including iPads. So what about your Microsoft 365 for Business? Well, there are 3 licensing levels. They start off at Basic, then go to Standard, and go to Premium. So the prices I'm going to give you today are correct at the time of making this video and are based on a month-by-month billing period. So Microsoft Business Basic is £5.52 per user per month, whereas Business Standard is £11.52 per user per month, and Business Premium is £20.28 per user per month. So what does that include? Well, for the Standard and the Premium versions, you get the desktop applications. Basic, it's cloud only. You can install Microsoft 365 apps on up to 5 desktop computers or 5 tablets or 5 mobile devices per user, and that includes your Mac as well as other Apple devices. You get the full cloud services, you get managed data and security, you've got that admin control panel, Microsoft hosted Exchange, SharePoint, and advanced compliance options, and that's in the premium option. So in the premium you get additional security features that allow you to protect your business even further. So it's a minimal monthly cost for a fully managed and compliant cloud system. So you might be wondering, can I not just buy Microsoft 365 Business directly from Microsoft, just like you can with the home versions? Well, the answer is, strictly speaking, yes you can. However, there is a much better way. So most home users simply click on buy now and everything is automated for you. However, with businesses, they typically need a little bit more than just buying the license. They need help with it being set up and have it configured and properly secured. So my analogy for this will be like you building your own home. You go out and you buy the bricks, the mortar, the tools, you go and get scaffolding, you get a whole bunch of materials, but that doesn't give you your house. All that does is it gives you the core materials and all the core products. What you now need to do is go out and get a team of builders, electricians, roofers, and a whole bunch of other people to actually build that end product. So you do need an IT professional who can set up your Microsoft 365 business environment and keep it secure and make sure it is compliant. So typically, home users do a DIY purchase online. They buy directly from Microsoft. There is no partner involvement. There is no help in getting it set up, but you do get support directly from Microsoft. And this is typically fine for families and individuals. However, with Microsoft 365 for Business, you use a Microsoft partner like ourselves. They supply the licenses, manage the company's Microsoft tenant or their environment, configures security, backups, and policies, provides ongoing support, ensures compliance with things like data protection and GDPR, and sets up your SharePoint, Teams, and OneDrive, as well as your Exchange. So the way to think of it is that Microsoft Partner acts like your IT department. They're there for your support, they're there to help set things up, and make sure things stay compliant. Now here's the real big one. Microsoft 365 Personal and Family has no backup functionality or retention system built in. So if you delete something, it's gone for good. So we once had a family business lose a year's worth of documents because they stored a bunch of documents in OneDrive Personal and they got accidentally deleted. There were no backups and no way to recover. If you might remember, earlier on in the video, we talked about Microsoft 365 Personal and Family having no backup functionality, but they do have a 30-day retention. Now that basically means that if you delete something out of your OneDrive, you can recover it up to 30 days. However, 31 days later, that document or files have gone for good. So as long as you can recall that you deleted that document within the last 30 days, you can actually recover it from the Microsoft 365 recycling bin. With the business version, there is a minimum of 30-day recycling as standard, SharePoint version history, there are audit logs, retention policies are an option, multi-factor authentication can be enforced, and there is optional disaster recovery with add-ons like data backup. And the most important part is the data stays in control of the company no matter if an employee leaves. Okay, so now you've got all the core differences between Microsoft 365 personal versions and the business versions. So which version should you choose? Well, let's finish up with a very simple and clear summary. So with Microsoft 365 Personal and Family, you choose this if you're a single user or a family. You only need Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneDrive. You don't have staff or club officers or a business of any kind. You're not a local authority and you don't handle sensitive data. So now let's summarize Microsoft 365 for Business. Now Microsoft 365 for Business is if you're an organization. You're a charity, a local authority, school, or even a club. You handle customer information, you need backup and retention policies, you want to manage user accounts, and you need SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, or Microsoft Exchange. And finally, you want an IT provider to manage and support all your IT needs. So there you go. There are the differences between the Microsoft 365 Home and Business versions. Now, if you think that you've not got the right licenses for your business or even your personal use, why don't you reach out to us, and I'll put the details in the description down below. Alternatively, if you've got a Microsoft 365 licensing nightmare story you want to share with everybody, why don't you put that in the comments down below. Now, my name's Rob from RLS Computer Services. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.